your energy forecast for Monday, March 18th. So we have the moon in her place of power in Cancer energy here all day. Mondays are ruled over by the moon, so to have the moon in her place of power on the day that she rules over is going to be a little bit more emotional than normal. Yes, we are in the mood to find safety, security, stability. The moon in Cancer, typically speaking, has a pretty strong hold onto the past. We don't really want to think about the future. We don't really want to make changes as much as we want to kind of dig deep, hold on to what it is that we've already built, what we've already created, what is already working for us. We're definitely looking for familiarity. We're looking for comfort, and we are definitely more introverted under this particular influence than any other. Let me also just say that today is the last full day of the old calendar of Pisces season. We will be shifting into Aries late Tuesday evening, very early morning, maybe Wednesday on the 20th for some people, depending on the time zone. However, this is the last full day of Piscean energy, the last full day of the old cycle, the old season. I know many of us are very anxiously awaiting to jump into some fire energy. To add to that, we also have to consider the fact that Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information communication, how it is that we express ourselves, will be moving into the pre-retrograde shadow period here today. So Mercury will be slowing down. Mercury, again, in this Aries energy, definitely helped us out in the last couple of weeks to think very much about the future, to kind of pressurize our choices, our decisions, to reframe a couple of things, especially on what it is that we want to build, what we want to create, what we want to pursue. And now, slowly but surely, we will be slowing down the mental plane. We will be revisiting a couple of things, revising as we observe, especially through eclipse season, where some wildcard energies are going to be thrown at us, really forcing us to reorganize, restructure, redesign our physical realms, especially around some very important ideas that have popped into our head as of late. There's going to be a lot of revision that is going to be needed. So with all of that being said, there are 11 different aspects taking place today. 8 of them are going to involve the moon. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information communication, how it is that we express ourselves in this Aries energy, going to make a positive interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings in this Taurus energy. I love this because, first of all, we adopt a very confident, very optimistic mental plane dialogue. We have a bigger, broader perspective available to us, and we're very semi-excited, do I say, about some potential options and opportunities that we're now starting to realize. Because Jupiter magnifies, expands upon some of the initial ideas that Mercury in Aries has kind of downloaded within us, this is going to be a good time to really explore where it is that we could take some of these ideas from here. The moon in Cancer energy going to make an awkward interaction with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger, closing out the final degrees of Aquarius energy as he anticipates a shift into Piscean energy here on the 22nd. Now, this is probably going to trigger some restlessness, maybe even some anxiety. There is this element where Mars in this Aquarius energy is thinking very futuristically. Again, that Aquarius energy is visionary. We're thinking about what we want to do, what we want to pursue, how we can improve, how we can do things better. But the moon in Cancer would prefer to not think that far ahead, would instead like to attach to what it is that's already working for us, what is already providing us with safety, security, stability, what is comfortable, what is familiar, what it is that's making us feel good, instead of really putting ourselves in situations to focus on what isn't working, what doesn't feel good, and therefore in the mind frame of where it is that we have to make major changes. The moon in Cancer energy does not really like to change. We want to stick to tradition. We want to stick to what is tried, tested, and true. The moon in Cancer energy going to trine, beautiful interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over roles and responsibilities, structures, foundations, discipline, willpower. And in this Pisces energy, we are definitely shape-shifting, if you will, our beliefs, our vision, our goals, our dreams. The Piscean energy is kind of breaking down the barriers, and the Saturn energy wants to build something stronger, something better in the place of the things that are currently falling apart. The trine is because this is water on water action, and water on water means that, well, we're getting cleansed, we're getting purified, we're healing, we're transforming, because the emotional, intuitive, and spiritual hints and clues that are coming at us on where it is that we do have to boss up to new roles and responsibilities, where we are in a position to really consider what it is that we need to stabilize in our lives. This particular energy, it's not coming as a harsh reality check. It's coming more like we feel like we're graduating. Like, we've done the work. We're done with this chapter. We've outgrown certain aspects, not only within ourselves, but within the world around us. And now we're ready to graduate. We're ready to go on to this next chapter. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, in this Piscean energy is going to make a positive interaction with Uranus, the Great Awakener, in Taurus energy. Now, Venus rules over the Taurus energy that Uranus is currently in. And that means that there is a little bit more intensity coming from this particular interaction than if Uranus was in another energy that Venus doesn't rule over. But what this is going to do for us is it's putting us in a different mood, a different attitude to observe differences and have a greater appreciation for the uniqueness, if you will, not only within ourselves, but within other people. More oftentimes than not, we focus on the differences as a negative. We create space, distance in between us versus them. And I think it's a really beautiful thing, especially because Venus is in Pisces energy, because Pisces energy is kind of like the collective. There is no boundaries. There is no division. It's unity. I feel like this is a particular perspective, mood, and attitude where we have a deeper appreciation for the differences. We don't see them as a problem. We don't see them as an issue where we have to keep them at an arm's length. We see them as an opportunity for growth, to learn something new, to really appreciate the uniqueness of the individuals that we're choosing to have a relationship with. And even situations, like we're all dealing with a very unique situation right now that is promoting our growth, promoting our evolvement, and it can seem very scary, especially because the more we advance, the greater distance and space we're creating in some of the relationship dynamics that unfortunately aren't growing in the same way, in the same path, in the same direction that we were hoping for. So there's a true appreciation that is coming out of this realization of having this perspective, of seeing the beauty even in the differences. The moon in Cancer then going to sextile, beautiful interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. I actually really like this because, again, it's kind of promoting our ability to see where, we may be attached to the old. We may find comfort in doing the same old, same old. We may find a lot of, I'm going to say, just reassurance in the predictability of our lives by doing the same old, same old. So we know that the moon in Cancer doesn't necessarily appreciate thinking too far ahead. However, the amount of opportunity that we are now able to see when it wasn't even visible to us, not even a week ago, is very exciting. And so although we may be very comfortable to stay in this present moment, to hang on to the things in which we've already built and already created, we are giving ourselves a little bit of a permission, if you will, to think about where we could make some changes and adjustments to our physical realm, to our habits, to our routines, to our relationship dynamics, and what it is that we now want to pursue. Again, Jupiter's really magnifying the opportunity for growth, to expand on the things that are working, to jump out of our comfort zones and actually put ourselves in new foreign territory to see what that outcome could be. Now, again, this is just a visualization exercise because the moon in Cancer really doesn't want to take action and make moves, and especially does not want to abandon what is tried, tested, and true for foreign territory. But this is an overall mood adjustment, if you will, where we're building ourselves up in the visualization of what we could actually change when we feel ready to do so. The moon is then going to get into the boxing ring, square off with Mercury first, the North Node in Aries second, and then Chiron fourth. So let me just say this, 10:30 a.m. to about 4:30 p.m. and again, all Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a little bit bumpy, little bit rocky. We are entering into these squares, creating tension and conflict in order for us to see where it is that we are resisting change, what that would actually mean for us if we actually could turn a blind eye and settle for the particular situation, current circumstances that we find ourselves in. The tension, the conflict does lead to an epiphany, an aha moment, a certain amount of growth, but sometimes we have to sit in the funk and kind of bang our head against the wall, so to speak, and really kind of understand where we're holding fears, doubts, and insecurities for making some changes, for making some adjustments, before we're actually willing to let go of what it is that we've been holding on to and actually open up our mind, our heart space to some of the changes that could actually benefit us. So the moon's interaction with Mercury, that's our heart versus our head. We're definitely not on the same page here because Mercury, being in this Aries energy, doesn't want to look back, has ripped the rear view mirror off of the car, so to speak, and only wants to look forward, wants to be aggressively trying to come to some sort of choice point, some sort of decision point so that we can actively start planning, strategizing the path, the plan to move forward, to reach our goals, to reach our dreams. But of course, the moon in Cancer doesn't really want to go that far. We don't have any want, need, or desire to project ourselves that far into the future. We just want to pluck out the silver linings and be comfortable in this present moment, in the here and now. The moon interacting with the North Node in Aries energy is suggesting that we don't want to think about the future. We don't want to think the opportunity for growth, for expansion, for healing, for repairment, because again, the roles and responsibilities that come with that are a little bit too much, are a little bit too pressurized, are a little bit too scary. So again, this is us kind of talking ourselves out of what it is that we could be doing, what we want to be doing, and trying to convince ourselves that what it is that we've already done, what it is that we've been currently doing is good enough, which of course is a delusion. We're still in Pisces season, so delusions are still very high. But this is our attempt, if you will, to talk ourselves out of change, growth, evolvement. The moon then gets in the boxing ring, squares off with Chiron. Chiron's the wounded healer in this Aries energy, has a major impact on our identity because this new version of self has been anchored in, because we are slowly but surely realizing where the potential of us kind of standing in our truest, realest, rawest form is definitely being anchored in. This energy doesn't really work well for us. Why? Because the identity shift, the rebranding that we're going through is a change. It's boss up energy. It's evolvement. It's growth. Not saying that, the moon in Cancer doesn't want us to heal, doesn't want us to feel good. However, again, the roles and responsibilities that now get put on our shoulders when we decide that we want more out of life and what that actually means for us, what we have to do to actually get it, seems like a lot. Seems like a lot of pressure. And so again, the moon in Cancer, overly attached to what it is that we've already built, what it is that we've already created. We're trying to talk ourselves out of bossing up. We're trying to talk ourselves into seeing that, we don't feel well equipped, well prepared to make these changes and adjustments. Again, this is just a little bit of mind effery that we're trying to do with ourselves. And again, not going to feel good, really putting us in a pressurized situation to kind of convince ourselves that we don't have what it takes to do what we got to do to boss up. This is all just a dark point that we have to sit in. We have to realize our fears, our doubts, our insecurities in order to override them. So again, from 10:30 to about 4:30, that's what we're dealing with. Not going to be fun. Doesn't really feel that great. However, around 8:30-ish, we have Mercury coming up to, bumping into, teaming up with this North Node in Aries energy. So we love this because, again, conjunction means that a cycle is ending just as a cycle is beginning. And of course, with the North Node in Aries, this has a lot to do with our growth, with our evolvement, with a new mission, with a new purpose, with new ideas, new thoughts, new perspective, new narratives. actually overriding some of the darker ones that we definitely sat in for the majority of the afternoon. So this is going to be a beautiful energy to kind of pluck us out of that dark pit, pluck us out of beating ourselves up and breaking ourselves down. And we're going to have an epiphany on where it is that we got to kind of give our head a shake, bang it up against a wall if it's needed, in order to understand that staying stagnant, staying in the position, the circumstance in which we have found ourselves in, that we've been praying to get out of, is not really what we want to do. And so this is kind of, showing us the light, if you will, showing us the possibilities, the options now available to us if we were just to get out of our own damn way. The moon is then going to sextile Uranus, and we love this because this is the shift in the mood and the attitude that we 100% need. Now we're open to thinking about the possibilities. Now we're open to thinking about new ways of doing things, making small adjustments in our every single day in order to align with the path of the greater, grander vision that we're now trying to percolate upon. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Cancer, making a positive interaction with Mars. Again, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger. And in this Aquarius energy, we are trying to think about what we have to take action upon in order to do things better, to improve our situation. I love this because it means that we're getting inspired, we're getting motivated, we're kind of building ourselves up again, cultivating that spark, that fire, that flame within, in order for us to be able to actually see the bumpy parts through. We haven't even jumped into the new chapter yet, but we are cultivating the energy that is going to be needed in order to kind of face the blockages, the challenges that we know we're going to face while trying to bring something new to life. So this is a little bit of a hype energy. And I think that, again, we're not taking any actions or making any moves as of yet, but in our inner realm, we're definitely processing the different ways that we could go about breaking away from the old and actually jumping into the new.